Bruce.
We're live?
Yeah.
Good evening. Going to open the April 27th, 2023 Weare Planning Board meeting. Our chairman is unavailable tonight, so I'm filling in for him. First on the agenda is a continued lot line adjustment for William and Gina Stevens and Judith and Frank J. Richardson. Is everybody here for that?
No, but we gotta know, because they have to go to zoning first, so they can't go to zoning till May.
Okay,
So Dan Higginson asked to be continued.
so you want to continue this till the end of May?
Whatever your meeting is in May, the 20, sorry.
Bruce, we need to appoint.
Yeah. I'll appoint Paul to fill in for Craig.
25th.
I guess we'll continue that till May 25th, and we want to make a motion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Continue to May 25th. Now we've got a conceptual plan for a Duck Pond subdivision.
Yep.
You want to explain what you're after?
Yep. So my name is Brad Casperson. I'm a professional engineer with Meridian Land Services, and I'm representing New Boston Aggregate Corporation this evening. The reason we're here before you to discuss a proposed plan deviation to the construction plans associated with Duck Pond subdivision. More specifically, the replacement of the previously proposed contact bridge system with a 5x5 concrete box culvert, as the design did not meet the specifications, as the fill height proposed well exceeded the requirement. I've submitted several plans which included the recorded plans associated with this subdivision, with the areas of the proposed plan deviations being detailed on sheets 7 and 8. So this first, there's 10 sheets included from the TFM recorded plan sets cover. And when you turn to sheet 7, it's kind of split between views, but this is the wetland coming down through the site. I've also highlighted in orange temporary drainage and draining easements. And then if you turn to sheet 8, there's also a permanent drainage easement right here as well. I did the same highlighting just so you can see the limits of the easements that are on site. The next sheet that was submitted. Turn to the next sheet that I had submitted. This is the applicable plan and profile sheet, which depicts the crossing location, which is sheet 27 of the plan set. It should be noted that from the profile, you can see that 15 feet of fill is proposed above the bridge. Additionally included are detail sheets for the bridge system, which if you look at the specifications on here, it says that only 3 feet is allowed of fill above the structure. So due to that, where 15 feet is proposed and 3 feet is required, this is why we're coming in with a different structure proposal for the stream crossing. The last sheet I have included is the plan conceptually that we have prepared, which is intended to amend this sheets 27 right here, and it details the box culvert that we're proposing on putting in there. What else do we have here? Oh, and it should be noted that a part of the previous approval, it was designed that the bridge system entirely spanned the wetlands, so no wetlands permit was required, where in this case we would have to go down that venture and get a wetlands permit.
Okay, so you'll need a wetland permit, you'll need a buffer, was it variance or special exception? Did you ever get the zoning permit before for the buffer infringement? For the 25-foot wetland buffer?
I would assume so. I can look into that and follow back up, but
Yeah,
I'm not.
you might wanna check into the conditions of that, because you may have to amend that.
Okay.
I don't know,
Yeah, and I guess, you know, looking at the design as we have it here, we're remaining within the, you know, disturbance area of what was previously proposed. So just beyond, we're disturbing wetlands in this circumstance.
yeah, but I mean, the buffer, the ZBA may have granted that variance
Specific to.
based on not disturbing wetlands or something, I don't know, I haven't seen
Okay,
it.
yeah, we can look into that.
So,
Absolutely.
you're not, is it the same length, or is it any longer, or what?
It's longer because we're proposing the fill to extend to the head wall, where previously it had large wing walls, you can see it in the background kind of. And it was pulled back adjacent to the right of way. So essentially, we're lengthening the culvert and reducing the wing wall, head wall length. And just putting more fill down and reducing the opening size to what would actually be required.
Okay. Well, I would, I guess, defer this to the town engineer for a review. You haven't applied for the wetlands permit yet.
We haven't.
You just-
We wanted to see what the town, you know, thought and what would require.
Yeah, this is a conceptual, right? So you're here kind
Yeah.
of for a,
Right, yeah, we need to still go get some data on site, and it was kind of a weird, you know, circumstance where it's not a, you know, a site plan or a subdivision, it's just a modification to the construction
guess-
plans.
you're not affecting any lot sizes or lot lines or anything.
No.
Because that would open a can of worms if you did that.
Right. So, yeah, that was kind of the, you know, design criteria is to remain within the, you know, approved plans as much as possible without, you know, modifying lot lines or anything like that.
Have the easements been granted to the town yet or
The-
anything?
The open space wetland that comes through that, where the bridge is gonna go.
Excuse me, sir.
That was in 2006 when we did the original subdivision.
Okay, who are you?
Vincent Iacosi from NBAC and
Okay.
Tigo Corporation. That, we're dropping the box culvert right in the middle of where the bridge was gonna go. There'd be a lot less impact on the wetlands with the wing walls disappear, which is about, I think, almost 400 feet of wing wall on 200 feet on each side. The slopes on the upland side, the uphill side are gonna be much more gradual. You won't be coming down into this big ditch with a bridge going across. It's also gonna save overall on a lot of maintenance over the years on a bridge that wouldn't work to begin with, which is something that all of us overlooked back in 2005. We never caught the difference in the fill requirement for a maximum of 3 feet for the bridge that was proposed, and we're well over that, 9 to 11 feet, and the bridge would not work. That's why we're here.
No, I get why you're here, I'm just trying to make sure that we're dotting all the i's and crossing all the t's with what you've done with the easements, with it, I mean, and that's, I don't know if the easements are actually granted, if you'd have to grant more, or if there's a,
So it's within the existing easement.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know much about how, you know, the previous approval went, and I guess I will say that, you know, if it was previously approved the way it was and we're remaining within the same disturbance area, and the easements would have covered that, I mean, in my eyes, I would imagine that it would be fine, but obviously we can do more of a.
That's why I think we have to get
Look
this,
into
we're gonna have to get this to the town engineer to look at, to kind of,
Definitely, that's why we're here.
yeah.
The other thing, all of the easements for the entire subdivision were recorded, I believe, in 2006. We did, finally did, all the litigation was done, and we came up with the plan that eventually was recorded. All of the easements were recorded for all the open space, the right-of-ways for the town, for public use, were all recorded at the same time.
So you're not affecting the open space
No,
portion, because that becomes a problem if you,
Right.
no, in fact, it increases the open space. by taking out the wing walls and grading the upslope, it's far less impact. So reusable open space is increased.
I guess as long as you're not playing with areas of lots and lot lines and things, that, because that would
Doesn't affect any of
That would be a
the
problem, yeah.
Right.
Town didn't want a goddamn gravel pit. And we have, how many houses?
You guys have any comments?
Just out of curiosity, is the square culvert or square box, is that kind of being influenced by Fish and Game and the new rules?
It will depend on what comes up for hits on wildlife and, plants. Regardless, Wetlands Bureau has a pretty similar purview on their stance. Things like, and we actually are proposing it just because we're anticipating the state requiring it, like stream simulation material on the bottom of the culvert, so it'll be embedded slightly, so it'll match the, the existing hydraulics and hydrology of the stream.
Yeah, I know there's a big effort going on to replace all the round culverts with square ones.
Right, yeah, they like these, or the, pretty much like a bridge, three-sided with footings.
Anybody else? I mean, this is. Plan amendment, or I guess you'd call it. There's no effect on lot sizing or anything like that, so it won't.
What's this access, your last phase, is it? Access to it?
Oh, yeah, this is providing access to the last phase of the development.
I guess once you get, I checked with the, I checked the conditions of your zoning permit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you had to get one because you're got into the buffer, and I don't know what kind of conditions they would have put on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously have to go to the Conservation Commission anyway, because they're gonna have first bite of the apple once you apply for the wetlands permit.
Right. I guess, would the board want, anything more beyond that, like
Yeah, we're gonna need,
back before you, or?
well, we're gonna have to get,
Some answers first.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to do that first, and we'll have to get the town engineer to review it.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be,
Okay, that's not there, that's him.
it may be beneficial to have the town engineer review it before you apply for your wetlands permit,
Okay,
because if he comes up with anything, and that way you're going before the Conservation Commission with a plan that's already been reviewed by town engineer,
mm-hmm.
so that,
When we apply to wetlands, we're all good with the town, pretty much?
Right.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, that's the bigger thing, is we don't wanna go to the state if we're, the town's not okay with
Right.
what we're proposing, so whatever we need to do.
So, how do we do the funding for the town engineer now? How do we do the funding for the town engineer?
How?
Yeah, they have to put,
Last time I sent over a plan, he sends me a bill, and then we don't return the plan until I get a check for the bill.
I think we still have money in the escrow.
yeah,
He may.
Yeah.
He may,
okay,
Yeah.
we can check on that too, because
Okay.
they still want to escrow account for what's going on with it.
okay. It's- You guys are gonna have to, just let you know that you have to obviously pay for the town engineer review for,
Yes, we know. No, usually Naomi will call when the balance gets a little low, and we replenish it for
Okay.
inspection.
I didn't know if we had to treat this as a separate thing, because it's a change in the scope of what the escrow was for.
The escrow is for the development up there. We use it for cistern inspections, we used it for,
So it's like a blank escrow for everything?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
So the engineering as goes on small.
okay.
Beth keeps it separately and tracks it separately.
And then once you get that, we probably need to, I mean, any of the plans that are filed with the registry, any of those gonna change?
No, and that's why I provided those first 10 sheets, because those are, they provide the easements and lot lines right away, everything that would be recordable, which wouldn't be modified. All we're changing is the one construction plan and a detail sheet.
So there's nothing really to change on the recorded plans, which,
Because you only recorded the first 10 sheets out of the 42.
Right.
yeah.
The rest were construction details and everything else. The reference to the easement book and page is noted on number 11. Easement, that's the way it's the book and page.
Yep.
Look at it.
So I'm guessing once you get the town engineer okay, apply for your wetlands permit, and once you get that, maybe we can do like one public hearing after that kind of thing?
The check zoning as well.
Yeah, we check your zone, see,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, I think we need some kind of public hearing. I think that's probably the best time to do it, because everything's ready to go. I mean, I don't see a problem with what you're trying to do here, just as long as you get all the other permits out, lined up.
Right.
Anybody else?
So, yeah, we'll look into the ZBA conditions, obviously, and then we can formalize some sort of submission to get over to the town engineer to get his okay prior to applying to the wetlands.
Yeah.
And then we can obviously
Brad,
take.
if you can do it electronically, I can just flip it electronically, it's easier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd prefer that, it's easier for me.
Yeah, then we can just do a paper copy when you're all done.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds good.
We're not murdering a bunch of trees.
Do it too much, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the Invest New Hampshire grant discussion. I'll give you a little update before we do anything else, I guess. As a result of our last meeting, Craig, as we kind of asked to be done, was he wrote a email to Laura Spector. And I'll read the email, and I'll read, I mean, it's not, I don't think anything that is attorney-client privilege kind of thing, it's all pretty generic. Laura, the town applied for a grant through New Hampshire, Invest New Hampshire, and we have been awarded a $25,000 grant. We have not yet accepted the grant. The grant is to be used to update a portion of the master plan. It has come to my attention that RSA 674:1I states, in quotes, "Every planning board shall from time to time update and amend the adopted master plan with funds appropriated for that use by the local legislative body," end quote. So its question is, can the town legally accept money from a source other than, quote, the local legislative body? And Laura's reply which was the same day that Craig sent that. So, yes, the selectmen can vote to accept the grant and then allow the planning board to use that to update the master plan. Please let me know if I can be of any additional assistance. So, the selectmen are the ones that need to accept the grant and authorize the namely to sign for the town accepting the grant. So at this point, I think we just table this discussion until we hear from the selectmen whether they've accepted the grant or not.
And Benji can add to what we talked about the other day.
I guess unless I misunderstood, another question was gonna be asked was if it tied us, how it tied us to the affordable housing.
Yeah,
I thought
and
that's what was gonna be asked.
I think probably, since the selectmen are the ones that have to accept the grant, maybe they could do
Okay,
the,
I thought that was the question Craig was gonna ask, and I guess,
yeah. I mean, we get enough of an answer to know
is
that,
that the
we
census
can't do
anybody
it.
else took, or no? Was that census anybody else took, or did I misunderstood it, I
No,
guess?
what he
no,
had
I
asked,
understood that too.
Oh,
I mean, I
okay.
asked that question.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, no, like,
well, that was the question as to whether, if we accept the money, if we're bound
Right.
by accepting it,
right,
I mean,
that's what I thought, okay,
to address a foregone conclusion, so to speak.
okay.
but, that's certainly a question that the selectmen can ask Laura to get comfortable with it on their, because the other one gonna say whether they accept it or not.
Which they have decided. I sent them all the information, the application, as well as the grant that's not signed. And they're supposed to have a discussion at their next work session, after everybody reads through all the information. So, right now, there is nothing, and their next work session is not till May 8th.
Okay. So I guess we table this until we hear one way or the other from the selectmen.
It'll probably be your, I'm not gonna make a promise, but maybe by the 25th, because I'm not sure how much we'll accomplish on the 8th. On the
Okay.
work session, I can't answer that.
So I guess so that everybody knows what's going on, once the selectmen make a decision, or if you could post it on the town website, that the planning board will be bringing it up again.
I would say table at least till the 25th anyway.
Yeah.
So you're thinking the 25th that will be addressed?
Well, I just don't know what's gonna become of the selectmen's meeting on the 8th. I don't want to miss the 11th and have to table it again.
Yeah, but I'd hate to miss it too. So do I have to go
We
with the
can- No, we
11th?
can just table it till the 25th, whether they do something on the 11th or not. How's that?
Okay. Weekend, no, the other ones that are gonna take the action, so I'd like to have an opportunity to persuade them.
Well, the other thing too is we can't accept it without a public hearing, so that has to be advertised if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
See, it's more than $10,000, so you have to have a public hearing, which requires 2 weeks' notice. So if they decide on the 8th they wanna move forward, we still have to have a public hearing, which is 2 weeks from then.
So May 25th is even tight.
Well, that would be for the selectmen to decide if they're gonna accept it.
Right.
That's
Would
what
be
I'm
the
saying.
25th is what
If they
Naomi
accept
said.
it, You can't
Yeah.
accept it until you have a public
Yeah.
hearing.
Public hearing would be after that.
Yeah, so if they accept it on the 25th, then maybe 2 weeks after that, they'd have a public hearing?
No, we can't.
25th is our meeting.
So, the selectmen have to have a public hearing
Yes.
to even accept it.
Okay, so to have a public hearing before they accept it? Yes, okay.
Yeah, and so I think the 22nd is even gonna be tight, and then you're into holidays, so you're looking at June.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, we table it till June.
I mean, you can keep it on your agenda, but it's the selectmen that have to accept it if they're going to, and has to have a public hearing, which requires 2 weeks.
Yeah. So to give them some time, let's do it in June. Continue it till June.
Between now and then, we need to ask the attorney that question.
We'll
right?
probably give you an update on the 25th as to what we're doing.
Yep.
You know, that's your next regular meeting, is 25th.
Okay. So just to, so kind of everybody here, I'm sure you're here for that, so that way they know what's going on, and we won't bring it up again till our second meeting in June,
25th.
June 25th.
Second.
So this 2-week window we're
June
talking
22nd.
about, Naomi, that's from when to when?
If they decide they're going to accept it, that's if. If the board decides they're gonna accept it, they have to have a public hearing.
yeah.
They pick a date for the public hearing, but it can't be any shorter than 2 weeks. You have to give 14 days' notice.
So that means on the 25th, they might decide to accept it.
No, 25th is your meeting, 8th is our meeting.
Oh, okay.
So the 8th is when they're gonna talk about it. At the 8th, they may say, we wanna talk about it again on the 22nd work session, I don't know. You know, but whenever they decide they're gonna move forward, they still have to do 2 weeks' notice regardless.
Yeah.
It could end up July, I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna take to discuss.
No, we'll move it to June
You can just
22nd.
keep
and
it
then
on your agenda and then just.
Yeah, I don't want
you
people to
what-
keep coming though and think we're gonna talk about it, that's why I wanna set a date, you know?
Because they may not even entertain a public hearing to accept it, they
Right.
just may say no.
At that point, on June
And that point,
25th
you
meeting,
don't
we'll
sign
say,
it, you don't do anything, it's done,
Right.
and move on.
So,
Tentatively, the selectmen will discuss at the 8th, and then after that, that's tentatively, right?
so if we wanted to influence them, we would want to be there on the 8th.
No, there'd be a work session.
The 8th is a work session, it's open to the public to.
You can
see.
observe,
It's
but you
not
can't
gonna-
talk.
Oh, there's no public input?
They haven't been doing public input.
But it- but it-
But they're gonna give a public hearing.
Public hearing.
Yeah, so if they decide on the 8th, what I'm hearing is if they decide on the 8th that they want to accept the grant, then they have to do a public hearing.
But you have to notice. and it'd
2
be
weeks
too-
after that.
It would be too late to do the 22nd, because
Right.
I can't notify that.
Right,
night.
but it's
So you leave it to
contingent on is whatever they decide on. If they decide on the 8th, we don't want anything to do with
It's
it.
over.
It's over. If on the 8th they decide they want to move forward, then sometime 2 weeks or later, they have to have a public hearing.
Which would probably be the first one in June.
Right.
just because of
Which
the
would be
last-
when everybody would have their chance to speak
Yep.
towards it, right?
So they can't, I'm still not quite clear. On the 8th, they may decide they'd like to pursue it, but they can't
can't.
vote to do so.
Correct.
No, they
okay.
have to have a public hearing,
Okay.
and that's when anybody and everybody can come in and say something.
I move we table this till the 22nd of June.
25th?
25th?
Oh, you're going over, you're going all the way to June.
June.
So you guys skip-
Yeah, we're not, we're thinking they're not gonna be, it's not gonna fall all ducks right in a row.
I know we're skipping along here.
Is it possible, Naomi, that someone could request to be heard at that meeting on the 8th?
I can ask the chair.
Okay.
You're also welcome to write to the board as well.
Yeah, that's, okay, thank you.
Email. Yeah. There won't be a response back because that constitutes a meeting, but you can one way send your information to them.
Wait a second, that,
Do we agree on the 25th of June?
22nd.
22nd,
22nd of June.
yes.
Okay, I second. Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
hold on a second. Any more discussion? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I didn't open it to public comment because there's really no need, I don't think, at this point. But do we have any other business? We're adjourned.
All right, all
You need a
done.
move to adjourn, right?
Yeah, you gotta move it.
You don't have to move.
I can,
Yeah.